Good day to you all. Today is the June 22nd of World Unity Week 2023, and I have Eva Millauer with us again today. Thank you so much for joining me, Eva. And thank you for the embodiment of the One Heart course. And I invite you to tell us more.
Oh, well, I just want to reflect a little bit on the sessions we had together so far. And I have to say they have been really enriching and really, really powerful for me to share in with you. And I feel like every time I work with someone with this material, I learn more about it myself. It sinks in deeper, right? And it's been really, really beautiful. And I feel that I've actually never done this like one day after another, so many, right? And I feel like after the end of it, I'll be spending some time integrating everything that we've been stirring up in the process. And I'm really looking forward to listening back to all the powerful conversations we had, because they were absolutely amazing for me.
I was so glad. For me, I've been introduced to a whole new world. The course, as you presented it online, it's so rich. There's so much material there. It's so beautifully presented. The opportunities for learning. And I know that you encourage self-study, and I love that. I also know that you are doing courses with small groups. And I look forward to investigating how that can be expanded further and to see how this lands in our world. You know, from my perspective, as you know, this is the one we are room in which we are investigating, you know, what is humanity? What is this one that we talk about, that we are? Who are we? And all of these things can only really be discovered through self introspection and combining our discoveries with each other. And
yes,
it's fun.
Yes, I totally agree. And that's been something that I've been learning over time, which is really, really important, because when I first started primarily group workshops, I did sometimes one-to-one, sometimes group workshops, but I didn't really understand yet how the group process is very powerful, and it magnifies the energy so much. And I found that sometimes it has almost like an addictive quality, right? Because it's such a, like, every time it's like this bliss ride, and it's just like a bliss ride. You can just join it. It is, you know, and it can become like addictive, right? So I found that people want to come and come and come and come again to that, but that there was actually a danger to that, because when we get an overload of that transmission of that reality of no separation without the capacity of integrating it well, it can suddenly just go sideways. And suddenly there is reactions that are unexpected, and then you don't know where it comes from, and suddenly it goes all over the place, right? And so I'm still in the process of figuring out how to best encourage people to really do everything, right? So to do the self-study, to do the one-to-one sessions, and to do eventually groups, but I'm careful with how I'm weaving that into the process, because it just magnifies everything so much, right? And then it's so artful, because you need people need opportunity to be introduced to the power of it, so they even find out have a chance to find out that they want that, right? So you need to be able to introduce people to it, but then you can't give too much without that energy from them coming back to really want to work with the material, you know, and also go into the separation voluntarily and work with that, because that's often the bit we want to avoid the most, right? It's just the well, I mean, I include myself. I have avoided it until I really couldn't anymore, you know. Like,
the things we get addicted to. Oh my.
yeah,
But
totally.
I've been so impressed with your material, and I was hoping you'd show us more.
I'm very sorry. I just realized that my camera has just done something funny. It does sometimes change the settings on its own back to autofocus, and then I go blurred when I move. And because I move a lot, I better change this quickly. There we go. That should be fine now.
Well, I did notice the blur, but now you're quite
Yeah,
clear.
I was like, oh no, it did this again. I need to really check it every time, because sometimes it changes it, sometimes it doesn't.
Wow, this is
one of those things.
like AI, you know, we've been dealing with AI on Humanity Rising this past week, and we are creating new common ground by walking it together.
Yeah, it's such a big topic. I don't even know where to start.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing.
All of that is very, very, oh wow.
Well, we're talking about AI from the perspective of, you know, what do we have to be afraid of? Do we need to be afraid of it? How can we use it? Can we use it with our kids? How can it help us to be more human? And what is human and what is AI? And can AI hold a soul? And so there's very interesting conversations that happen. And it's one of those things that, you know, now that the conversation is over, you can go and listen to it on YouTube or through other networks with Stan, whose room this is. And his othernetworks.org is very helpful in providing those sources. But it's not Stan's sources that we're here for right now. So I want to go back to you and your course.
Yeah, I wonder if, because I haven't really got a lot of reference to AI in my work. It's still for me such a long stretch. Apart from, I can't remember what it's called, but I've seen this amazing documentary once about someone called the Glass House Experiment or something similar. I can't even exactly name it, but it was an experiment where they were looking at where the world could possibly, with all the different options there are with how things could develop. Let's put it just very broadly like that. Yeah, because I don't know the details exactly. I don't want to misquote anything. But whatever happened, whatever they programmed into this system, the answer was always that everything would be completely different and evolve into the most amazing oneness reality, and they couldn't change the outcome of this somehow, and they freaked out about it, so they stopped the experiment. Something like that. I mean, this is very vague, unfortunately, but I just remembered it so much because it was just so fascinating, right? That they couldn't program into it somehow we will have control over the world by so and so. It just was somehow not possible. I would try and find out about it again and see if I can say something more.
Oh, that's okay. You know, it's the idea that we can control the world, I think is a fundamental error. The only control we could have is by obliterating it all. and then there is nothing to control.
Yeah, totally. I totally see that with this, the big picture seeing that develops with the practice of embodiment as so hard, or that people come into the practice with already. It's not like you know, that it's only coming through that, but that it definitely helps to develop that. But what becomes very obvious, that whatever you try to push away or try to overpower or somehow control is going to get power through that, isn't it? It's like if you try and make something go that way and you give it so much energy, like with anger, isn't it? If we suppress our anger and we push it down and we want it to go away, we just feed it by doing that, and eventually it just comes ba-dam. So which is probably also why suddenly the development happened, that suddenly there is so many world unity movements, because it's not that long that they are here, right? Suddenly it's like everywhere there's world unity movements. When I'm sure this must be because there has been so much push on, you must be separate, you must be separate, you must be separate, you must be separate. And suddenly it's like, no, we don't. You know? so it just has to burst out, right? Yeah.
We're learning, there's a lot of ways that is exhibited to us, but allowing it to these emotions or things to flow and to go where they need to go. Sometimes it's just, it's a big flood, but it's actually there to fertilize the plain. And so, what we think might be a bad thing could actually be a good thing in when you look at it from retrospect. So now that we have Susan and Tricia also in the room, now perhaps would be a good time to share some of the course, because I really want them to see how beautiful the course material is.
Yeah, I was just going to go, I just had an idea of, because of what we just spoke about, there is a little piece of art in the separation chapter that speaks about that very thing we just mentioned.
Good.
And I
love how well you know your material, so that you know instantly where you want to go in the material to talk about a subject.
Yeah,
that's great.
I can't get my video on, by the way. I apologize for interrupting. I don't know why it is.
Okay.
Well, we know you're there, Tricia, and I know that we were able to see you earlier today, and thank you so much for coming back.
I don't know what happened to it. Thank you.
So I just had this strange thing again, that the screen share doesn't want to work. Let's see. I'll try again.
But we tested it. Oh, there it's going.
It says your screen sharing is paused.
Oh,
again, just like it did last time. We just tested it. It's fine.
Stan said something about starting another share. Do you remember that?
Yeah. New share. Let's try this. No, it's doing it again. Oh, this is very odd, because we just tested it, didn't we? And it was absolutely.
Yeah, we did.
Let me just try a different page just to see if a different page works better.
Just to let Susan and while you're doing that, I'll just let Susan and Tricia know that on Tuesday we had a similar. Oh, we've got something.
This one is working.
We've got your headline.
So, well, how about we just start?
There it is. There it is.
Let's just start with this one, because also Tricia and Susan haven't heard that much about it yet. So maybe it's just better to start with the beginning, and the technology is telling me to do that instead of.
It's always a good place to begin at the beginning.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite pieces of art.
Yeah. Trisha and Susan, do you have any questions about anything at that point that you would like to ask?
There's Susan. Hi.
No, I am just tuning in for the first time now, so I really don't know where we're going with this, and I don't know what I'm to expect to learn, so I don't have questions yet.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I'm in a similar category.
Well, thank
Okay.
you for coming.
Okay, that's wonderful. Maybe I'll do a little beginning demo then live first.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because then I can give a little embodied demo first and then go into this. This might be better. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. So basically, just in a nutshell, Embodiment as the One Heart has developed from a passion to dance non-dual poetry, because I felt a really strong transmission in really powerful poetry like that when I read it. And just reading it didn't feel quite enough. I didn't want to just read it and then it's goes from here to here, right? I read it kind of with this part. Like reading, like, for instance, the sentence, I don't care anymore to keep silent about it. I have never been born or died, right? If I just read it, it's just wow, but it's just read. And then I realized when I speak it loud, it has already more power. It already resonates differently in the whole body, and the transmission of the sentence lands in a different way. And then I realized if I then speak it by heart, there's yet another shift that happens. But then when I speak it by heart and move the body to it, that's where I felt what happened was the most powerful. And I got really, really excited about this exploration. I did it for years with very few poems, because they were always so alive that you didn't need new poems. You know, they were like literally every time you enter into immediate, intimate relationship with reality, with the whole body. So I could be dancing the same 5 lines for a whole life without getting bored, basically. I will just do some for you to show that. These are some lines. They are by a spiritual teacher called Adidasa Raj that I have been studying a lot, and who I studied with for a significant amount of time, or who has very much influenced my process now, which is, however, completely universal. It's not linked to any particular spiritual tradition, as it has moved on in time. So the words would be like this. There is only light. Light is all there is. Light is inherently indivisible, non-separate, and one only. There is only light. Light is all there is. Light is inherently indivisible, non-separate, and one only. There is only light. Light is all there is. Light is inherently indivisible, non-separate, and one only. Yeah, so I discovered that this way of bringing the body into the consideration with these powerful words was allowing me to instantly shift deeper and deeper into that reality. And to me, it became more powerful than meditation, even though meditation has also had its times in that process. But it became almost more powerful because it was literally just like you can feel really stuck or separate or scared or something is going on. And this was just like you switch on the light switch and it's just, yes, here it is back, right? So yeah, so at some point I started to feel I needed to share this discovery with people because it was so powerful. And then I realized that it was kind of more powerful than I expected, because I figured out that you can guide people into this process really, really quickly often. And sometimes it can be overwhelmingly, like opening you up overwhelmingly fast into places you didn't know exist. And so over the years, I went through a lot of different considerations with this work. And eventually I realized that what needed to go with this work is the understanding of separation, because the two really belong together. So the understanding of how we go into separation, why we go into separation, what we can do to transmute that into that reality of no separation became part of the process. And at that point, I ended up developing the foundation course and basically started to teach myself through that process of writing and developing inquiries and all these type of things. Does anyone have any questions at that point?
So what you're working with specifically is with language, with poetry, most is where you're coming with the integrating that language with your movement and with your entire self.
Yes, absolutely.
Because
and
no, go ahead, please. Because why?
Because basically I have researched how spoken word can align to the reality of no separation, right? That reality in which there's absolutely no separation at all. And how then the verbal mind can become a collaborator with that reality, rather than being the one that always affirms to us that we are so separate and so limited and so stuck in the body and all these type of things. So I found that because in a lot of traditions, the mind doesn't get a lot of credit. It is kind of, it just thinks, and it's annoying that it thinks, or just at best you can watch it go by and all these kind of things, the thoughts, right? But I feel the mind has a much more powerful potential that we need to understand more about, and that is that it can be aligned to invoking the reality of no separation. So it can support the body, and then the body can support the verbal mind, so they can work in unison. Yeah.
When you talk about the mind, do you mean the brain? Do you mean the big mind of all consciousness? When you talk about the mind, are you talking about the individual's brain mind, or?
Good question. I actually literally only just use the word mind for the verbal mind. So I usually bring it together with the verbal mind, because I don't actually know what the mind is. Otherwise, I can only, if I inquire into myself, the only way how I can identify it is if it's words happening somewhere that are not spoken. So that's I literally just speak of the verbal mind in this case. Yeah.
Okay. And so it sounds like what you are working with deeply is that part of us that is language.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you were doing, your expression of the poem, and I was remembering how I find myself expressing the language of music in that way, which is a little more common. You see people dancing to music more than you see them dancing to the language of English, of poetry, of,
Yeah.
But I've wondered a lot about what that piece of us is that is language attached, or language expressed, or language based. The part of us that is language, that piece of our brain, or maybe something more than just our brain. It seems very powerful, and we talk a lot about it being very limiting also, language. But I always feel like there's something very, very powerful about language that has a deeply spiritual context or like a origin. I don't know what, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking now, it sounds like that's what you're really, really exploring is language.
That's one of the aspects of it. Yeah.
It
Shannon,
seems to me that language is very, as you say, Susan, it's very limiting. And to express all of our being through these words is confining. And it's kind of like the shell of a bullet or a bomb that holds everything, and in order to express what is inside, you need more than words. And I believe that that's what Eva is presenting to us.
And I wonder also, Shannon, then is it so language, when we talk about it, the language that we use as human beings, whether it's English or French or German or whatever, that part of language that is generated within what we think is our mind, our brain. So that's one language. That's one kind of language. And I'm wondering if maybe what you are doing is there are many languages that are way beyond anything human. Okay, the language of the universe, whatever. So maybe you're finding a way to connect the two and allow what seems to be a limited language within us actually transmute, transform, connect with large languages, mesh with, yes. and be a doorway too. Like I do a practice quite often where I have 7 words that I've come to align myself with. And at first I would do my prayers and I would align with those words. One of them, for instance, is benevolence. But then I started wanting to not be limited or feeling maybe like I was limited by what that word meant to me. So I found myself on a plateau looking out to eternity and using that word as a door to know what that word really, truly represented. And
wow,
things have come out of that. You know, I mean, I feel like I've got expansion. I feel like there's probably a huge, you know, obviously unending amounts of new information to come in, but I saw the language as a door to, reality, the universe, God, I don't know, but as a door, not as a final destination.
Oh, I love how you
feeling what you're doing.
I love how you put this. I really so resonate with this. And I also see it like, for me, it's also like this is definitely part of the process, as you say, it's a doorway, right? This way, but it also is for me a doorway this way. So basically what I mean by that, it's like this, I have like this really strong urgency and longing, and the strong longing for that reality to merge with manifest existence. So it's like this, it's like a bringing it down into here, bringing that universal love code into this realm here where it's so needed. So that is sort of, that's the energy of it, right? Bringing it down.
And again, the word that comes to me when you say that is a word that actually in the previous things that we were doing this morning kept coming through to me, was transmission. There's something almost sacred about that word transmission. I don't know if that's true, but that's how it feels to me at this moment. So that's what I kind of feel like I'm hearing you saying. It's coming honestly, truly, authentically, completely. We're getting it coming through. you know?
Yeah, totally.
Not just a picture of it.
Learning how to allow the transmission to come through all of what we have been given, the vessel that we have been given, gives us a way of bringing heaven as above, so below, to make heaven on earth.
That almost assumes assumes the tenet that we've talked about lots of other times, you know, in our conversations, that we actually are the divine. We are heaven. It's making the assumption that we are capable of doing that. And I think that somehow, that's the other side of the separation. I mean, that is the separation, that we are not capable, and then experiencing it. So we know that actually we are not the separation. We are heaven.
Yeah.
But we live most of these, at least I live most of my life kind of with the overhanging belief or, you know, framework that I guess I have, not as much now, but I feel like we're trained somehow to feel like we ask for help from heaven, as opposed to we simply connect to heaven because we are part of it. When people say I'm God's child, they could be saying that reality, that they really are, they are the same. And yet, at least culturally or on this world, or as far as we are as humans so far, I don't think we overall believe that. I think we believe we're separate.
Yeah, that is exactly it. And in my experience, the reality of no separation goes nowhere. It's always there. It's always us. It's always who we are. It's not something we need to attain anywhere, because it is who we are already. It's just like not doing all the separation that prevents us from experiencing that. Yeah, so it's more the other way around. It's
But
like I'm not going to.
If we are always that, though, if we are always non-separated, if we are always connected, the other word for it, why do we go into this, what we are calling this sense of separation? Why do we even go there? I'm
Yeah,
curious.
I guess, I mean, all I know about this is that it seems like we've done it for millennia and we got a bit stuck there. I mean, you know, that's all I can say about this. What do you reckon?
We were created to be separate so that we could see each other. You know, I have this little geometry playfulness that you know, there once was one. And it got lonely, so it made another. But it couldn't see what that was, and so created a third so that it could see the relationship. And then it created a fourth in order to create something to hold it all together. And that is where we are. Is the parts getting to know each other and finding out how we are one.
Yeah.
Because we're separate beings, we haven't been able yet to find the oneness, and we need to go back there in order to make the five.
But it seems like, I'm not sure if I'm hearing what you're saying, but the thought that comes to me is, why not be the one and the whole all at the same time? In other words, the premise of that there is an absolute duality, maybe we can let go of that totally. Maybe it's okay for, what's his name? Singer wrote the book of Untethered Soul. And he talks about, okay, you're living your life and you're all caught up in it. You're doing all this stuff, this silly human being doing this stuff. He says, okay, let that be there. Now back off to the back of your head and be that part there that sees what you're doing. You know, and you're still doing it. You're still living that life of one, but you're also back here being the whole at the same time. And something in maybe us being animals have a hard time grasping that, you know, because of what we had to evolve as animals, that's a big part of us, that we have a hard time grasping that we can be both. I don't know. I really don't know the answer to it, but it doesn't have to be either or.
I experience that very much, that being both. I experience very much being the microcosm and the macrocosm at the same time. I experience myself very much as inside and outside the body at the same time. And I feel that is totally possible.
You know, that I think comes with dancing in great measure, that being able to experience inside and outside, because at some point you're moving so much, you aren't you aren't even paying attention to boundaries. You know, the energy that goes out here just comes back and through. That's dancing to me is an amazing.
It's an amazing exercise in the witness. Having that perspective from the back of the mind, I equate with the word witness, and they write about the witness. And when you're a dancer, you need to be aware of what people see.
Shall we just go in? Oh, sorry. But I was just wondering if we should go and look at that in the course for a little bit. Exactly
absolutely.
That.
Now
Sorry.
Because yeah, shall we have a look? Because there is a whole chapter on that.
Yes,
So we
yes,
maybe
do it.
inspired by. But do you want to finish? I didn't want to interrupt you, Shannon. Do you feel
You're allowed
finished?
to.
Okay. Because it's we have such fascinating conversations, don't we? And it's really hard sometimes to not want to just talk about these things.
I'm so glad that you enjoy our conversations. I enjoy them too. And I do like to follow a thread, but I am so impressed with your course and the beauty of the art that you've created, and the richness and depth of the presented materials. And we're going to trust that the technology is going to support us in this.
I hope it is working now.
It did work that once, and we know that it did, and we're all trusting. Come on, technology, be with us.
It doesn't seem to want to today. It's showing the page.
Is it back on pause?
Do you see anything?
I see the top of the screen with the 3 buttons: edit page and the URL address.
I don't know what's happening again today. I could just try to just go out of it. Let's just try and see if I can. I'm sorry about this. I don't know why this is doing it.
This is just to tax you, you know.
It is. It is to totally confuse me. Okay.
Well, we're with you, girl. We're absolutely with you.
Yeah. So at the moment, I just see the page that I want to show you, but I can't even get away from it anymore. Okay. At the moment,
Come on,
it doesn't.
computer.
I don't know why it's doing this now, because I removed all these funny hot corners, right? And now, okay. I don't know, guys. You know what? If we can't do this, I don't want to waste loads of time doing this. I'm really sorry if it doesn't work. But in the other sessions, there's loads of examples of the actual course. But what we could do, as we are together, I have an idea how we could dance as one with spoken word. Would you like to do that with me instead?
Sounds good.
Sure. Eva, are you in the States here? Are you in the States? Where are you?
I'm in the UK.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So you were doing this beautiful practice yesterday that you were showing me, right? And then I was speaking about this poem, The Universal Prayer for Peace, that I felt we could weave together. And then I was considering that Susan's words that you were working with could weave into that as well.
Okay.
And Trisha, if you want to speak anything, you could also do that. So normally, which we won't go into because we can't look at it in the course, but normally the embodiment as a One Heart Foundation course works with language in a way that it teaches us how to align spoken word to that frequency of the reality of no separation, so that it really invokes that, right? That it really powerfully invokes that. And we can't do that today because we can't even look at it, but that's just for you to know. If you're interested in it, that's where you find it.
Okay.
But I will read you the Universal Prayer for Peace now, because that is that type of language. Yeah, that where everything is geared towards that reality of no separation. Okay. A universal prayer for peace. One inexplicable universe. One starlit, endless sky. One green and blue planet amongst countless others, one profound mystery. One deep, vast ocean all around, one body of earth and rock and fire and bones and flesh and hair, one air, one water, one wind, one breath, one sound, one silence. One blood, one skin, one leaf, one branch, one gravity, one light, one day, one night. Hey, this is not the right one.
I don't care. It was so beautiful. Oh my.
This is the old version. I was just thinking it. I was just reading it like, this is not the right version. No, but we just read it anyway.
There
it's not
are
the
no accidents.
Right.
There is a newer version, but this one we just leave it as that.
Trisha, I want to hear your voice, Trisha. What you were saying?
Well, I was just saying I like that a lot. Did you put that in the chat, or is it viewable somewhere?
I can put in the chat. There is a there was a number of projects done with the newer version of this poem, which I have clearly not found the copy of, or not realized that this is a different copy.
It's where we're headed. This one,
and this is like
where we're headed.
How beautiful. I was lost in those words.
Absolutely.
Sorry for checking you out again. I just got confused because it's not, it's one of these days where the plans technology. So here there is One Heart Global on my website, and that is basically about various projects with this poem. I've did like a film with it where people sent me lines that they interpreted on video, and I edited it all together into one film. And later it became a project with Co-Create Europe, where loads of people made their own video of that whole poem, and lots of them translated it into their native language as well, which was really powerful project, really beautiful. But that new version has some other lines in it, but I'm just going to finish with this one now. If that's, shall I, yeah? So one inexplicable universe, one magnificent and magical organism of aliveness in forever changing forms of wondrousness, one love, one heart, one true happiness shining in all eyes, as one you dance, as one you dance. The one pain of all the horrors, the one pain of all the fake divisions, the one pain of all ideas of I and me and mine, the one pain of all the I am good and you are bad perceptions, the one pain of all the fears of the so-called other, the one pain of all the love destructive forces, the one pain of all the unnecessary sufferings. As one you dance, as one responsibility, one love, one love, one love, as one colorful and bright and shining humanity.
You read that so beautifully.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
My soul.
So this is an example of that language, right? Where everything is included. There's nothing excluded. Not even the pain, not even the separation is excluded from what is. Yeah, and that is the language of embodiment as the one heart.
So nothing is excluded. That's the key.
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna send it to others.
Oh, thank you, Tricia. It deserves to be heard. It deserves
Mm.
to be seen. It deserves to be experienced. I believe, Tricia and Susan know me pretty well. They come to the after chat of Humanity Rising quite often, and they know about my dream of our heart gardens, and of gathering in communities, in places where we grow good kids and good food together, and we hear each other and we heal each other and together. And I imagine this, the embodiment of one heart, being one of the tools that we use in order to find ourselves and our oneness in our communities and in our world.
Yes, yes. I found that this particular poem seems to be very, very accessible for people from all sorts of different backgrounds. It's so immediate. The language is very simple in some ways, but it's just so all inclusive, and people from all over the world from different backgrounds have responded to it very powerfully. So I do feel it has a very strong connective force. And I actually, that was what I was proposing for the 99 days as well, to go deeper into that, into spreading that poem further afield and finding maybe there's more people who want to make videos of it and translate it into more languages, because that project could grow so much more. Yeah.
Eva, is the poem on your website that you posted? I went onto the website. I don't see where to find the poem.
Oh,
Did you see One Heart Global?
Yes, I went to there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, so there is basically you will see, oh yeah, brilliant. So find out more about this production. If you go there, under the woman with the hula hoop ring, underneath says find out more about this production. That's a link. There's different versions of that. This is like one I did live on Zoom with projection ones, but if you scroll up again.
Okay.
If you stop here, there is a line, find out more about this production. That's a link. Yeah.
What you were saying. Where on the website do I find the poem?
So here, and now if you scroll down, there's a poem. And
Oh,
this is
okay. Thank you. Now I see it. Thank you. Okay.
oh,
my
that's
website is like a maze, because there's so many different levels to every project. I don't know how to organize it that you can see everything at once. You have to kind of just like go through this sort of jungle, and find your little here and there on the trees.
I was going to go on that, the Caravan of Unity, 1st to 22nd of September. I didn't go. I would have met you. Were you there? Did you go on the caravan?
Yeah. That's where we did that project.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, it was really amazing. I couldn't believe how many people was, because we had such little time. They came up because I wanted to just do a little presentation with the poem. That's what I was thinking. One Zoom group, right? And then they said, oh no, we could make it cooler. We could ask people to read it in their language. And it's like, okay. It was literally a few weeks before it started, right? And we put it out, and there was all these films. It was the most intense project. It was like every day we had a new video to upload. It was madly amazing and powerful. It was so powerful. That collective invocation was really amazing.
Oh, I'm so glad to find out that our connection has been just missing each other for now 3 years, and who knows, Chief Phil Lane Jr. I took my first online course from him, and he is threaded throughout my whole existence, it seems, ever since. And that goes back 10 years. And he's involved in this and World Unity Week and all of that. I'm watching what is happening. The weaving is so deep, and it's exciting. And thank you so much for showing us a little bit of our the website. Anything you want me to share, you just let me know, and I can access it apparently for you.
Yeah, we could just maybe look at the preamble of the foundation course, because actually the preamble of the foundation course is already a course. Because I always tell people, consider this, consider if before you buy this, consider all of this, you know. So I really want people to really feel it. Do you want to have a look on the website?
Oh, okay. I'll just share again because I have the power.
You've got the power. So if you go into foundation course.
Foundation course.
Yeah, let's just see what it says. Oh yeah, so this video I can really recommend watching, because this is like the trials. I have like had a number of trial students that kind of just emerged out of nowhere. It was just amazing. And basically this is a video with them. We've run a Zoom study group together at some point, and there you get an impression of how the process has been together for us, which I feel is really worth watching. And then basically I've got some artwork here. The same intelligence that closes eyelids closes flowers. A face is not an owner of an entity. A face is a window to eternity. That reminds me of your benevolence. It's not you embodying oneness, it's oneness embodying through the body as you. Yeah, so these are the type of language explorations that are very typical. Then there is a little video about, this is actually an image I wanted to show you earlier. When we were speaking about separation, we could just look at that for a moment. Once upon a time.
Can I read it? Thank you.
Oh yes, Shannon. Shannon is a good one.
Once upon a time, humanity believed that the earth is flat, and then it turned out to be a sphere. Today, humanity vastly still believes that the world is made of separate things and still lives by that idea. The resulting constant war on enemies, be it microcosmic, medium-sized, or macrocosmic ones, has not brought peace and safety and harmony. Living by knowing that life is one breathing organism of aliveness will change everything on planet Earth for the so much more wonderful, peaceful, happy, and healthy on all levels of life. Right? That's what I believe, Eva. That's what I believe. I could not have said it any better.
The way you read it is just amazing. It comes through you so real. I just love it. It gives me goose pimples every time you read something. And then down here is still a little video that I want people to watch. It gives some indication around that this process is not about becoming the great spiritual me, you know. So I want to because sometimes people have that very strongly, that idea that, oh, the oneness is the great spiritual me, you know, and I feel so great because I'm so one, you know, these kind of things. And I'm already kind of tapping into that topic a little bit. So people know this is not what it's about. It's not about becoming a very special, bigger entity than what we were before. Yeah, because that feels like an important point to make as part of the consideration of separation that can come up. Yeah. Yeah, and here you can buy it.
Oh, look at that. That is so beautiful. And I know we're close to the end of our time together. What I want is to show the menu of the 4 different sections that you've created. Where would I find that? Is that in the introduction?
You could actually, because I've already added you. I mean, I don't know if you need to verify yourself.
I don't know. Well, let's find
no,
out.
no, it's true. It's true. It's here. If you go back on foundation course.
Okay.
And then buy the online. The next page is the buy the online. If you in the same tab. Yeah, go into purchase details. That's where the 4 modules are showing up. Yeah, so this is gonna show you the modules.
Oh, there, that's what it is. So
yeah,
these are the modules. What is embodiment as the one heart? The aligning of spoken word to indivisible light, the body as expression of life itself, and a unique understanding of separation. And then you provide an audio version of you reading the very beginning of the course. And that's just beautiful.
And then people can also choose 3 different levels of payment according to their income. And everyone who buys it supports this process from expanding and growing, basically.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm going to stop sharing. I just before we're ending, we have Ginger Schaefer has joined us. And my Ginger, you missed an amazing session. I'm not going to call it a presentation because it wasn't. It was a conversation. And I've really, really enjoyed being with you, Eva. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us, to me again. I feel very special and honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really love how things worked out without working out. It's funny how that happens, isn't it? Things work out in their own way without us being able to work things out. And I love how intelligence of life does that for us.
And
Thank you so much.
I'll be able to view the recording. So
right.
Just popping in. It's so much. Yippee!
Oh, truly, this has been so much fun. And Ginger, I think you'll really enjoy the recordings. Day 1 was Eva and I getting to know each other. The second day we had a tussle with technology. Day 3 was yesterday, wasn't it, Eva?
And now we are already on day 5.
Okay, so we had that day with the gentleman. We had 3 men come and join us, and that was so interesting. So it's and yesterday I shared the beauty wave prayer, and so the whole series has been a lot of fun. And I love working with you, Eva. I look forward to co-creating more because this is beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was wonderful again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eva.
Thank you.
And Shannon.
Oh, you're so welcome, Susan. I'm so glad you could come and join us. I hope to see you tomorrow, and if not, that's fine. I know life happens, but
Probably.
and maybe Ginger can join us tomorrow. We'll see what happens, and that is the unfolding that we're all in the process of. I'm going to bring this to an end right now, and I do so appreciate you. If you would like to capture the chat, now would be the time, and I'm going to stop the recording now. Thank you so much.
And I